So our next unit that we're going to work on is focusing on line, color, and movement using oil pastels. So use the elements of line to create the illusion of or sense of movement. And we're going to do this through doing a few sketches and working on some concept drawings and making sure that you're doing non-objective work. However, you can be inspired by real objects or conditions or ideas, things like that, but you're mainly going to be doing something that's more abstract. Tools and medium that you'll be using, students will become familiar with oil pastels. So we're going to make sure that you know how to use oil pastels and you have the different techniques that can go into that, like shading and mixing colors and doing line design with that. You're also going to do a little bit of art history and become familiar with different artists that create non-objective art, like Jackson Pollock or Matisse, or even Picasso, who did works that did not look like a normal object. So some of the tools that we'll use with the oil pastels is the main thing you're going to focus on. You're going to also finalize the steps that you want to use when you're creating the artwork. And then eventually, as you finish creating your different sketches, you're going to move to making a final drawing that will show the movement and the illusion of it and what it looks like. I'll give you a demonstration of that in just a little bit of what we can do, how to start. Our objective, our cognitive understanding of lines and elements of art and how to make it create movement. That's one of the focuses we'll be using. Use line as an effective form to create motion. And then also we're going to research the background of creating line with movement. Find out how artists use that, looking at different artwork, things like that. So stages of the project. You're going to learn about oil pastels and how to use them correctly. So how to shade with them, how to mix the different colors, what it does on different paper. Kind of just getting comfortable with how to use oil pastels and how you can mix those colors. You're also going to receive a quick lesson on movement and what that can look like. So especially with pencil and line, you just practice doing sketches with that and kind of figuring out how to make a line look like it's moving. And then we're also going to be connecting to doing this with the elements of art, so using color and how color can be mixed. So understanding different color theory and what color can do and how color can help in creating movement. So the timeline for completion of this project is it should take about 10 days to work on the project. We don't have a lot of time in class all the time, so we're going to try to focus as much as possible on getting the project done. Students will have enough time to actually work and complete the actual project, but they're also going to need to have time for research and understanding how they might want to do their non-objective work, and also maybe a little bit of information about some of the artists that they are inspired by. So that's why it will take about 10 days to work on. So once they've spent their time doing all that research, working on their sketches and putting that together, then they'll come up on their final project. And when they create their final project, they're going to share this final project in class. So like everyone to share their final project. And then we will assess that project by, based on the behavior in the presentation and the students' feedback they get from their classmates. And they also will show how they got that motion that they created, what they did to get that type of motion. So materials that we're going to use are white paper, just basic white paper, or you can use construction paper or textured paper. And then we're going to use oil pastels and pencil. So for example, if you were going to do your drawing, you would take your white paper, and you can mess around with the actual lines. This usually would be something we probably put on the overhead or Elmo, so students can see what you're doing as a demonstration. And then you can just take your lines and you can do drawings of movement. And you can kind of find ways to do creative ways to make that look like it's moving. And this can almost look like the way wind would look or something. And then you're taking your line creation. And then I would take this and probably add color to it. Maybe make the lines a little thicker if I wanted to. A quick demonstration of how to make it thicker. I can add texture to it depending on the paper that I'm working on. different little things that you can add to it. And you do this through different sketches, so students can do a lot of different sketches to kind of get an idea of what they want it to look like before they do their final project.
How many sketches do we have to do before we can start our final project?
That's a great question. So, in order to do your final project, you should probably do at least 3 sketches, maybe more. You can also work in your sketchbook, and you could do probably a max of 5. I wouldn't want you to keep overdoing it, and then that way you could get those in. Are there any other questions? Okay. Well, it looks like this will be a good project for everyone. I think this is going to be focused on the elements of art, especially the number 1 element, which is line, and mixing color, those 2 elements together. So thank you, and hope you enjoy the project.